Alright, hello everyone and welcome back to my Fallout 4 Mod Spotlight series, where today we're having a look at yet another wonderful mod, this time in the form of Personal Craftable Vertibirds, which is being made by user Wintermute AI1. And what this glorious little piece of work looks to add into the game is, well, a craftable vertibird, which we have seen in the past. There's plenty of mods out there right now that do add in a vertibird that you can build in your settlements, but they're purely aesthetic. You build it, you look at it, that's all you can do. This mod, on the other hand, makes it usable. You can actually use the vertibird as a vertibird is intended. You jump in, tell it where to go, and shoot people along the way with the minigun, and that makes me happy, especially because of how I'm playing the game right now. In my story playthrough, I've made enemies with the Brotherhood, so I can't exactly pop a vertibird signal grenade to bring one down, so my only option now is to build it myself, which is pretty simple. All you need to do is go into your workshop mode, and in the special category, you'll go over to the chair icon, which is kind of weird, but oh well, there we go. And then find a place to put it. Now, of course, it is kind of a big thing, so it may take a little bit to find just the right spot for it to live in. There we go, excellent. And then build it. And there we are. We have a functioning vertibird. Now, I want to point out one thing here that does kind of bother me about the building of it. I think it's a little cheap. It's a freaking vertibird, and if you look at these requirements, I mean, 4 oil, 4 screws, 6 gears, 5 springs, 16 steel, for some reason 4 concrete, and finally 4 wood. That's all it takes to build a vertibird. It seems to me to be a little bit too cheap, but thankfully it does at least have some requirements, so it's not, in my mind, too cheaty, but nonetheless, it is a personal vertibird, so I'm happy to have it. I won't complain anymore about at least that aspect. There's a few other things we'll talk about in a moment, but yes, we have a glorious vertibird, which we can just walk up to, and as you can see, interact with E to ride. Now, your companions actually can get in here as well. I've made a poor choice in companions, though, for the video, because Ada doesn't like getting into vertibirds. But if you do want them to get in, you just click to command, and then turn away, and you can see when we normally tell them where to go, we can tell them to ride the personal vertibird. Now, we can, of course, tell Ada to do it, and she'll say affirmative, but in fact, she cannot ride vertibirds, so, yeah, a little bit pointless, but oh well, if your companion did get in, you just need to get in as well. And excellent. Ooh, actually, let's get back out real quick. I meant to point out one more thing. You may have noticed as we were getting in with the animation, there's no pilots in this thing. So I guess... See, there we go. Ada can't get in the vertibird. Alright, thank you, Ada. Finally, you actually had an interrupting comment that was useful. But yes, as you can see, there are no pilots in the vertibird, so just consider it a robotic vertibird for now, I guess. The mod maker is trying to fix that right now. They are wanting to add in people, but for the time being, it is empty. And yeah, you just jump right on in and use it like a normal vertibird. Once in, we just go to our Pip-Boy map, and let's say go to the Red Rocket truck stop. There we go, we take off, and we are now in flight. And oh my god, this makes me so happy. We now are in and are flying our own personal vertibird. Now, sadly, we can't manually fly around with it, with any sort of actual control. We can only tell it where to go through the map. But you can actually tell it to change course while in the map still, so if we want to change from the Red Rocket, we can start heading in this direction towards the, oh god, what was that place again? The Robotics Disposal Ground. So you can actually tell it where to go mid-flight, which is always useful, but let's actually have it go back to the Red Rocket truck stop now to talk a bit more about how it lands. Ooh, I'm being shot at. Who's shooting? I will return fire. Ooh, mole rats. I doubt the mole rat was the one trying to shoot me. But yes, whenever you land at a target, the vertibird is going to try to land as close to where you would normally fast travel into that location at. So whatever the fast travel location point is, it will try to land as close as possible. If it can't get exactly where it needs to be for the fast travel point, it will move a little bit out of the way to try and find a suitable ground to actually land, and then as you can see, it shuts down its engines and will sit here until you return to, you know, take another flight someplace, which I do quite like. It doesn't just disappear or fly away. It will sit there for as long as I need, so I can, you know, land, go do my thing, go shoot some people, and then come back to it and fly, say, back to Sanctuary Hills, where I'll show you a fun little extra thing. Now, of course, I said with this that it will try to land wherever the fast travel point is for that particular settlement. So, of course, with Sanctuary Hills, it's going to try and drop us off right at the main house in Sanctuary Hills, because that is, of course, the default fast travel point. But thankfully, the game does in fact give us a way to change our fast travel point. As you can see, it's just going to land right here, because this is where, you know, we always end up coming back to whenever we fast travel. But if we go back into the workshop mode and go over to the resource category, then miscellaneous, I don't know, you know, a lot of people don't seem to know that this is actually a thing. I guess most people just ignore the fast travel target, but you can, using this fast travel target, change the fast travel destination for your particular settlement. So say we wanted this thing to actually land over here instead, boom, it should. We just put that home plate right there, and we may have to fly away someplace and then come back. I do love that it stays in place, though. We can just fly away and then change to that location instead. So let us get in and go to the map and fly back to the Red Rocket briefly, and then we'll change course to return back to Sanctuary Hills, and we should land over at that home plate. Alright, there we go. We are taking off. Once we're a little bit over the lake on the other side. Yeah, once we're about here, excellent. Let's actually then tell it to change course back to Sanctuary Hills. And it should try and land on our little target that we put there, which is quite handy. And oh, dear Lord, I see Ada on the ground trying to chase us. Oh, poor Ada. Oh, poor Ada. There we go. See, it is going to land as close as possible to that. Apparently, it didn't like the nice, flat, open place that I put right there, but oh well, what are you going to do? It chose to land next to that light post. That seems like a horrible place for it to land, but as you can see, you can change its rough target location. Now, as for some other oddities, as you can see, once we've actually parked the vertibird somewhere new, it no longer has a collider. Once you build it in the workshop mode, it has colliders. But once you move it someplace, it seems to lose them, and I'm not entirely sure why. Hopefully that can be fixed in the future. But until then, just don't worry if you walk through your non-corporeal vertibird. Just roll with it, guys. Just roll with it. Other than that, an issue that I've discovered with it so far is that if you are flying someplace, you'll notice that we do have, while in flight, we have a land button, which, of course, if we take off here, you can see, there it is, the land button at the bottom of the screen. It doesn't seem to work. Like, if I press it now, it is going to change course, and it seems to sometimes land, but not always. The vast majority of the time that I've hit the land button, it's decided to fly somewhere new. Now, thankfully, right now, it did actually work. But it seems to be about maybe, I don't know, 10% of the time that I've tried that land function so far, and whenever it has failed, it's always just decided to fly straight north. Now, I don't know why that is, and it's, like I said, it's not consistent in how it works, but it does happen sometimes. Now, thankfully, as I did show you earlier, you can change the target of your flight while flying, so if that does happen and it decides to go off course, all you need to do is tell it to go back on course by clicking the waypoint you're wanting to go to. So, for instance, I've hit land again, And, oh, it's actually probably going to bring us roughly to where we want to be anyways. But let's actually... this should be interesting. I've never tried to change course while it was landing before. So if we want to go to 10 Pines, in the middle of landing... so it is just going to land and ignore that comment. So, or that order, rather. So that's actually good to know. I hadn't tried that yet. Yes, it is in fact stopping the engine. So yes, if it does ever go off course, again, it only seems to happen sometimes. It seems to be a fairly rare occurrence. But if it does, you just need to open up your map and click the location you want to go to again, or of course change it to something new and you should be perfectly fine and good to go, which is a nice thing. Oh, which actually, it's off course now. Oh, we're getting shot at. Who is shooting? Or maybe it's just decided to take a really wide turn towards the target. Yes, it decided to do that. Oh, another thing I should mention, since we are getting shot at, this particular vertibird is immortal. This vertibird can never get shot down, which I think is a good idea because I'm sure we've all seen plenty of times a Brotherhood of Steel vertibird get shot out of the sky by someone or it running into a building and getting destroyed. So I think it was a good choice to make this not destructible, so it can fly around and run into anything and everything it pleases, and just keep going on its merry way, which is quite good, so we don't end up like that particular vertibird down there. And yes, other than that, I can't really think of any other problems this thing has. It works quite well. I love the fact that we have a vertibird. We can fly around, and then, oh god, mole rats, and flies, blowflies everywhere. Okay, I'm gonna get it back in the vertibird. Screw this. But yes, I love the fact that we have a freaking personal vertibird that we can choose to fly wherever we want to, and just enjoy the flight. I mean, who doesn't love flying around through the Commonwealth? It's just useful and beautiful. So yes, if you would like to check out this mod for yourself, you can take a look at the link in the description, as always, and I would definitely say to go and give it a try, because it's just fun. And yeah, I also do hope that you have enjoyed this particular episode, and that you do come back for the next. But until that time, thank you for watching, my friends, and as always, have a good one.